What's new from Apple? There's the new iPhone 16 Pro, built for Apple Intelligence. And it comes with the all-new camera control, giving you an easier way to quickly access your camera tools. The new Apple Watch Series 10 has our biggest display and our thinnest design ever. And this? It's the sound of active noise cancellation, now available on one of 2 new AirPods 4 models. So quiet. Check out all of the new products and new features at apple.com. You can even buy yourself something new. See apple.com for product availability updates. Apple Intelligence coming this fall.
Earning your degree online doesn't mean you have to go about it alone. At Capella University, we're here to support you when you're ready. From enrollment counselors who get to know you and your goals, to academic coaches who can help you form a plan to stay on track. We care about your success and are dedicated to helping you pursue your goals. Going back to school is a big step, but having support at every step of your academic journey can make a big difference. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
Hear that? Yeah, that's the sound of you relaxing, because now you're managing diabetes with the Freestyle Libre 3 system. You get to know your glucose levels and where it's headed. Manage your diabetes with more confidence with the Freestyle Libre 3 system. Ready to learn more about the #1 prescribed CGM in the U.S.? Visit freestylelibre.us to learn more. Based on retail sales data for patients' last filled prescription by manufacturer. Refer to the FLAIR NL4 study published in BMJ Open Diabetes Research and Care 2019. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
What did the tree say to the moss? You're starting to grow on me. What do you call a skid mark that won't come out? Undeterred. Why did the gamer quit playing Call of Duty? 'Cause duty called.
If you just read the bio for Dr. Steve, host of Weird Medicine on Sirius XM 103 and made popular by 2 really comedy shows, Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez, you would have thought that this guy was a bit of, a clown.
Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to?
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heart valve, exacerbating my incredible woes. I want to take my brain out and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic, echographic, and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent of Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in the tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease, so I'm paging Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve!
From the world-famous Cardiff Electric Network studios, it's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio. Now a podcast. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medicine provider who gives me street cred with the weirdo alternative medicine asshats. Hello, Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
My partner in all things, Tacie. Hello, Tacie.
What's up?
And also my partner in other things, business stuff. Don't get excited. Chanda. Hello, Chanda.
Hello, everyone.
This is a show for people who had never listened to a medical show on the radio or the internet. If you've got a question you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider, if you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call at 347-766-4323. That's 347-POOHEAD. Follow us on Twitter at Weird Medicine or at drscottwm, and visit our website at drsteve.com for podcast, medical stuff, and news and things like that. Most importantly, we're not your medical providers. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on the show without talking it over with your healthcare provider. Very good. All right. Please don't forget stuff.drsteve.com this holiday season. Stuff.drsteve.com for all of your shopping needs. You can just click straight through, or you can scroll down and the new mugs are here. So the last bunch of mugs, if you bought one, I'm going to send you one of these for free because the last ones had a bunch of typos on them. And that was the artist.
They did?
Yes, the artist introduced those, and I didn't proof it well enough. He's very embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. They spelled separate, S-E-P-E-R-A-T-E.
Well, not very many people here would notice that.
And then it said Stool something it's, and it was IT''s when it should have been ITS.
Oh, I hate that. That's the worst.
That one drives me crazy. So you will be getting a new mug for free. I'll send it out. Now you'll have 2. The other ones are now collector's items, like those stamps where they had the airplane upside down. These are collector's items. So I'll be maybe bringing those to the event in Rochester, February 3rd. You can still get tickets at WATPlive.com. There are 4 events, maybe 5 now, including comedy, an award show, all kinds of stuff. I'm going to be the announcer for the award show.
Oh, I knew you'd be something.
So I'm very excited about that. Well, I'm the only one.
You're the one crazy enough to do it.
No, I told Carl I'm the only one of the bunch that's even got an approximation of a radio voice. So I can do the whole Michael Buffer thing, everything. So I did that on Vinny Loves Wrestling. That's a great podcast. And I did a Michael Buffer impersonation for that. That's, let's get rid. Well, anyway, I don't want to do it here.
Do it. Come on.
No.
I say no.
Tease us.
Say no.
You can't tease us.
Tacie, just go listen to Vinny Loves Wrestling. Google it. It's there's a podcast and you can hear it.
There you go.
Scott, don't make me.
Anyway, okay, and then check out simplyherbals.net. Simplyherbals.net for your fatigue reprieve.
Yep. Stressless.
And stressless.
And
nasal spray.
The nasal spray.
And his nasal spray. I want to try the fatigue reprieve and see if it's better than the shit I've been taking for my narcolepsy, because I about fell asleep 20 times on the way home today.
Yep.
So I've got to find that dose that carries me through the day.
And doesn't make you crazy.
And doesn't make me crazy.
Well,
That's
and
the thing.
he's not sleeping at night
either.
I did last night, though.
We'll have a talk about that.
Anyway, okay.
Well, let's talk about that.
Check us out on patreon.com/weirdmedicine. We just had Chad Zumach on there, and we analyzed him, which was very interesting. It's not published yet. It will be very soon because I got to do a lot of editing on that one. And then who have we had, Tace?
I don't know.
Okay. Thank you for your help. Pete Davidson.
Yes.
We had the troika of Opie and Anthony, Greg Hughes, Anthony Cumia, and Jim Norton. We've had, not all at the same time, which would have been a coup if we'd done that. Mark Norman, other folks like that. So check it out.
Lots of lovely, lovely people.
We have Joe List this weekend, and then in 2 weekends, we've got...
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't do it. Just say no, Dr. Steve.
So anyway, and then check out Cameo. I did one. If you want me to say fluids to your mama for Christmas, just go to
Who wouldn't want that?
Cameo.com/weirdmedicine. It's cheap.
You're right.
I'll make fun of how cheap you are for purchasing that as a gift for somebody.
He loves them. Do it.
No, it is fun. It's really fun to do. So anyway, all right. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
All right. So Chanda, you're about ready to retire, right?
She actually has 3 more weeks before she's retired with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But you're retiring on purpose, though, right?
I am.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, I kind of did too, Steve.
I know you
mean,
did.
prayers, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
And then she was sad when her prayers were answered. But now she's happy.
I'm so happy.
Well, you can mourn the loss of a relationship without, even if the relationship sucked. I know when I moved out from my ex-wife, and I've told the story on here, I mean, I cried when I left, but I was mourning not leaving her. That was that was a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you and your ex split up, did you shed any tears, Dr. Scott?
Oh, God, yes.
You see? And,
hell, yeah.
But you were mourning...
My bank account.
Well, that too. Well, there was that.
There was that, too.
But I was mourning what could have been, and you get into a routine, and so, you're mourning that sort of idealized relationship.
Agreed.
Failure is what I thought.
Yes.
Like, I didn't succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's bullshit because it didn't really have anything to do with winning or losing or failing or succeeding. It just is what happened, But anyway, it did, So we've all experienced that.
So that means 50% of the people in this room are going to be retired in a week.
Yeah.
That ain't right.
And then the other 50% are going to be carrying on.
And the two oldest ones are not retired.
That's true.
How's that work?
Yeah.
That ain't right. That shit ain't
So
right, man.
Chanda and I are going to pick a good rehab to go to. We're just going to need a couple of suggestions.
We probably can't go together, though.
No, they won't let us, will they?
No, because you guys will be drinking and doing everything, and you'll be dry drunk together. Why don't you do rehab? Let's see, where could you do it? Lake Tahoe. Just get a nice hotel and just hang out there and say it's rehab.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, there you go.
Can we write that off?
Yeah, and then I can hang out with my girlfriend, and then with everything
Yeah, good
will
for
be
you.
happy.
You get her next week.
Yeah, he's about 6
Oh,
foot
because
one.
you're going to be gone.
I got suckered into Vegas.
Gray-headed with a beard.
I don't know how that happened, but I did.
Yeah, my girlfriend is sitting right there
it's
next
about
to me, and his
6'1",
name is Scott.
210 pounds with full.
All right.
facial
Well,
hair.
check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net, simplyherbals.net. And don't forget Cardiff Electric. It was his anniversary 2 weeks before I said it was his anniversary. So happy belated anniversary. And this week, it's not Cardiff's birthday or his anniversary. It is a shout out to Kinky Loco. It's Kinky Loco's birthday today.
Oh, happy
shout out to
birthday.
That's
Kinky
probably a lie, too.
I don't even know if it is or not. One of these days it'll be right.
Big
I got a
fat
1
liar.
in 365 chance. So we have a ton of phone calls. We've been bullshitting the last couple of shows. So why don't we just do a crap load of phone calls?
Okay.
You want to?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, first thing.
Number one thing, don't take advice from some asshole on the radio.
All right. And now I've got the first couple are a quiz for you guys.
Okay.
And we'll see who gets them right. See if you if I can give you a bell.
I'm out.
Give yourself a bill.
That's what you're going
So
for.
we're going for okay.
Yep. All right. And you don't have to shout it out. We'll go around the table. We'll just say who's right. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Number one question. Here we go. I think. Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, probably should have tested this.
Tacie!
Oh.
What is the fastest responding muscle in the human body?
That's a great question.
See ya.
Thank you, Stacy Deloach, who is back from his, sabbatical.
His hiatus.
His forced sabbatical, but he's doing very well. He is volunteering with a bunch of biker guys because, he's a biker.
Mm-hmm.
And he is volunteering to give, I don't know, I think it's in New Orleans, but I'm not sure, doing meals for the homeless and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, we all have different facets. Stacy's an awesome guy, and he's doing good things out there. So we appreciate him. And this is a great question. And so we'll go around the room. The fastest responding muscle in the human body. Dr. Scott, do you have an idea?
I'd say the muscles of the eye, the inner eye, the iris.
The iris. Okay. I'm going to give you one of these. But you were close. Tacie?
Don't know.
Okay.
Don't care.
Damn it.
Well, that's because you're an idiot.
All right. Chanda?
The tongue.
Oh, that's a...
Let me guess.
Wow, that is very interesting. Please tell me more.
Just don't go there.
Yeah, we want to. There's so many Chanda/tongue jokes that you could come up with. Scott was the closest, though, so I will give him this.
Give yourself a bill.
It's the orbicularis oculi, and that is the muscle that makes you blink. You can blink in like microsecond or milliseconds to an assault that's coming at the eye. You will blink faster than you can think.
I thought I had it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
thought that. Just didn't say it.
Really?
Really, honestly.
Orbicularis.
Yeah.
There was a guy once, and Tacie, that you bring up an interesting thing. When you go to Vegas, you could try this.
Oh, good.
So this old guy stood next to the craps table, right? And he didn't bet, or it wasn't. Maybe it was craps table or roulette. I can't remember. Actually, okay, let me back up. It was a roulette table. It doesn't matter. Don't know why I made you do that. Kevin Meaney used to tell this thing about you tell a joke and then you get to the end of it and you go, oh, wait a minute, his nose was this long. It was information you needed to make the joke work. This was not that. So he's standing there at the roulette table and the croupier is doing his thing. And then when it goes on red, he says, "Oh, I bet on black in my head." And the the guy that spins the wheel is like, "Well, okay, who cares?" And he spins it again, and it comes up red, and he goes, "No, I bet on black in my head again." And then he gives the guy a $5 chip. And the guy says, "No, I can't take that." He said, No. I'm an honest man. I bet on black in my head, and it came up red. I want to pay." And this guy was inexperienced, and he took the chip from him. The next time he does it, it ends up on 35, and the old guy goes, "Oh, well, that's awesome! I bet $100 on 35 in my head," and he wanted him to pay him off. The mistake the croupier, I think it's the croupier do craps or it's been so long I forgot. The guy that spins the wheel, the mistake he made was taking that guy's $5 chip, because the second he did that, he validated the imaginary betting that he was doing, and they ended up having to pay the guy off $3,500.
Oh.
That's something.
Something to know for next week.
Yeah, it won't work, but it was back probably in the Old West where this actually worked.
There was a company meeting the next day.
Oh yeah, don't take imaginary bets. You say you have to make it a tip. But anyway, so okay, so here's another one. He's got another one. Scott will get this one.
Okay, this week's question. Hi, Tacie.
Okay, we got the preamble.
Yeah, the hippie that sits to your right. Yeah, man. Anyway.
What'd he say?
He just shit on Scott. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the hippie that sits to your right. Yeah, man. Anyway.
Because Scott's always shitting on him whenever he calls in, so there you go. You got something. Yeah.
Hope you're well.
Thank you.
That's good.
Likewise.
Anyway, what body part continues to grow until the day you die?
Oh, I know that one.
Okay,
all right. I do too.
Well, we'll get to you.
I wonder.
Okay, well, let's.
Tacie
got the imaginary one, right? So, Tacie.
The nose.
Ooh, okay. Let me see if that's right. I'm not going to say, because if I do, then everybody will know.
That's what I was going to say. The nose.
2 noses, 3 noses. Okay, I'll give you these.
Give yourself a bill.
But there is another answer, the ear as well, and it's any structure that is primarily made of cartilage will continue to grow until you die. And that's why you see all these old people with these big giant schnozzes. And that's when I would want to get mine taken care of, because some people grow more than others.
What about nose jobs?
Yeah.
Does that cut that off?
Well, it cuts off some of the cartilage, but you still have cartilage in there.
So it still continues to grow.
Yeah, but it'll grow from there.
Well, I'll be getting another one.
It's just like your boob job.
Another one.
Your boobs continued to grow, but if
be
you
getting
had
another one of those.
If you had the day we get divorced. But if you had not gotten a reduction mammoplasty, your boobs would be, even bigger than they were, which I would have been happy with. But because you did, they continued to grow, but now they've just kind of grown back to where they were before, so which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So, anyway. Boobs. All right. Boobs are good. There's nothing wrong with boobs. Tacie hates boobs. Anyway. All right. Here's a question.
Hey, Dr. Steve, Ron J. from Ohio. I just listened to the episode with Vinny Tortorich. And I got to say, whenever Vinny talks, he really sounds like my woo science, pseudoscience, spidey sense just goes off.
Me too, dude. But the crazy thing is that a lot of the stuff that he said that I doubted and I checked, I just did a quick check. All of them had validity to them. I've got papers here, and I will get Vinny on again, and I'll have my studies, he'll have his, and we'll discuss. But I am going to do a little bit of an analysis. But go ahead.
Talk to him.
Yep.
He uses lots of words like CO2 carbon or toxins or GMOs are bad, and one thing that you talked about a lot is risk to individual, risk to the population.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And when he says this seed oil is bad, what I don't hear is at what dose? Right. How much worse is it? And is this really where the average person needs to focus on for their health?
Right, because what Vinny's thing is that there is some risk, so just go with something that he feels doesn't have any risk. I did do some research since then because, it's stuff they don't teach us about nutrition in medical school. Chanda's shaking her head, too.
Yeah, vitamins and alternative medicine. You don't get that.
Yeah. Well, alternative medicine. Alternative medicine that works is mainstream medicine. You're doing, when you do Botox, you are doing something that at one time was very alternative.
True.
And now it's accepted.
The heart cath was alternative when
sure.
They did.
Well, thinking that ulcers could be caused by bacteria that live in the stomach was a very alternative theory, hypothesis that was later proven true. And I remember a gastroenterologist who you and I both know, Tace, saying, there's no way a bacteria could cause an ulcer. I remember that. He was so sure of himself, So anyway.
Then I made a lot of money proving him wrong.
Yep, there you go. Good girl.
Is that the magic bullet? And I hope I'm wrong, and maybe he's a genius, and I'm just looking. To me, he just throws a lot of logical fallacies around, like the fallacy of origins of the dietary sciences and stuff. So.
Yeah, he's not a Dr. Ian Smith, who I hear him say, just making statements that I just don't feel like they're supported in the literature, but he'll make them very definitively. But the thing about Vinny is he has changed his thoughts about stuff over the years. Okay. And I think he does a lot of reading. And, like I said, I appreciate the fact that I had no idea that plastics have, are secreting estrogen into our water supply when we drink out of a water bottle. But my question again was, does it matter? Is it clinically relevant that water bottles do have estrogen-like molecules in them that are, deposited into the fluid that's in them? And I prefer sort of the metal vacuum bottles anyway, so I don't drink out of plastic water bottles. But is it enough? Or is it because detectable doesn't mean it's harmful? We put up with a certain amount of insect parts in our oatmeal. There's all kinds of things that if we had, nanotechnology that we could detect down to nanogram amounts. There's all kinds of stuff in our water. There's people flush some of their medicine down the toilet, and you'll get statins. They're detectable in the water supply. Cholesterol medications. Is it enough to cause a problem? Doesn't seem to be. So I don't know.
Wasn't that something with Sheryl Crow when she had breast cancer with the water bottles? Or am I just
Is that where it came
imagining
up? Is that where it came up?
I just remember that from a few years ago that, and I could be imagining this, but she left her water bottles in a hot car and they warmed up and then secreted these chemicals into it, and then she would drink them later.
It would be a hypothesis, but the thing is, okay, so for example, if you give a woman, a postmenopausal woman, estrogen, right? That increases their risk of breast cancer by about 1 in 10,000. So instead of having a 1 in 11 chance or 1 in 10 chance of getting breast cancer, you get a 1 in 11.0001, right? So you can't really ever say that a certain breast cancer was caused by that. You could say it was certainly it increased the risk of having it. But breast cancer is a 1 in 10, 1 in 11 thing for all women anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you have something that's that prevalent and you've got something that adds a little bit of risk, can you then say, well, this is what caused it? And I don't think you can.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee.
But we want to mitigate risk.
Yeah, there's no reason she wouldn't have got it or was going to get it anyway.
Correct.
That.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, just don't know.
And I don't know if
it's awful.
She was BRCA positive. If she would genetically weren't testing for it, then I don't think. But it is. I mean, we want to mitigate risk because listen, if you increase breast cancer by 1 point in, 1 in 10,000 cases, and you multiply that times 100 million women, that's a lot of cases that you could have prevented. So I'm not saying we shouldn't prevent that, but when it comes to the individual, like this guy says, it's a lot harder to say, yeah, this is the thing that caused it. certainly increased the risk, but we don't know.
Well, that was my gift of choice this year, was a large water bottle like the one that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool, and that was my gift of choice. And then he comes on there, and it's like,
well,
it's already been ordered, so.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I can get you metal vacuum bottles, too. We have Weird Medicine vacuum bottles.
I already spent the money.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be fine. You don't care if your friends get cancer.
No.
So, let's finish this guy's phone call.
You can help prove me wrong and that he is a good guy to listen to.
No, he is a good guy.
I'd love to hear it.
He's a good guy. He means well, and you can't go wrong following the things that he says. Mm-hmm. If he says seed oils are bad and you switch to olive oil and avocado oil, you're not going to harm yourself doing that. Mm-hmm. He may be overstating the risk, and that's a possibility. So I looked into it. I looked into seed oils. I think the thing that he is worried about with seed oils are these things called aflatoxins. And these are a family of toxins that are produced by fungi that are found on agricultural crops like corn, peanuts, cottonseed, and tree nuts. And it doesn't really matter what the main fungi are, but they're very familiar names that you will recognize. And it's Aspergillus flavus, and Parasiticus. And they're abundant in warm, humid regions of the world. And they contaminate crops in the field and during storage. So when you store the grains, these stupid things. Now, you can get exposed to these aflatoxins by eating contaminated plant products such as peanuts or consuming meat or dairy products from animals that ate them. So these things are stable.
Wow.
Farmers and other agricultural workers may be exposed by inhaling dust generated during the handling, et cetera, et cetera. Now, which cancers are associated with aflatoxins? Liver cancer. That's the main one.
Ugh. So
you can reduce aflatoxin exposure by buying only major commercial brands of nuts and nut butters, by discarding any nuts that look moldy, discolored, or shriveled. And the FDA tests foods that may contain aflatoxins, such as peanuts and peanut butter. And to date, no outbreak of human illness caused by aflatoxins has been reported in the United States, but they've occurred in some developing countries. And that is from the NIH, National Cancer Institute, not some, shitty rag somewhere. So I think, I'm sure that the FDA is testing canola oil for aflatoxins and would yank them from the shelves if they found any.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
So I think that if that's what he's worried about, the risk is pretty minimal. Now, do I use a lot of avocado? I got to stop asking questions and answering. Yes, I use a lot of. I've been doing that a lot. Do I do this? Yes, I do. That's a ridiculous way to speak. We use a lot of avocado oil. We found a supplier. It's the Asian store in town. The avocado oil they have there is way cheaper than anywhere else. And then we use olive oil too, and really high quality. Extra virgin olive oil can be used for cooking. Don't let anybody tell you that it can't. You just got to get the good stuff. You can't buy the crummy stuff in the can, off-brand stuff that's in the supermarket that says, extra virgin olive oil on it. Yeah, right. Now, let's talk. He talked a lot about soy, that soy is an abomination. And that was the one thing I took exception to. I said, there's 1 billion people in this world that eat soy every single day. It's their main staple.
But there's also, for people who have PCOS, they always guard against soy.
Because
of the
soy isoflavones.
Whatchamacallit that's in it.
Very good. I'll give you a bell.
Give yourself a bill.
Soy whatchamacallit.
Yeah, because estrogen, right?
Yeah, that's
in
right.
it.
They're estrogen-like properties. So I'm going to talk about that. And that is, if you want to minimize your exposure to estrogen, soy and sweet potatoes may be one way to do that. They have soy isoflavones. They're often thought to mimic female reproductive hormone estrogen. As a matter of fact, some of the estrogens that you can buy are derived from soy products, but they're highly extracted and then they're manipulated chemically. They're similar in structure to this hormone. Soy isoflavones have weaker and different effects than estrogen. Most studies find no negative effect with regard to breast or endometrial cancer. They've done studies on this. And there have been some cases where they offered some protection against certain cancers. So we've talked about this before, Scott, that there's certain things we've talked about on the show that are, protect against one cancer but increase the risk of the other one. Mm-hmm. So, in thyroid function, test tube and animal studies suggest that some compounds found in soy may reduce thyroid gland function, yet human studies found little or no negative effects, especially in humans with healthy thyroid function. So one of the other concerns is feminization in men. If you eat soy, you're going to get gynecomastia, a.k.a. man boobs. And human studies found a very weak link between between soy and reducing the production of male hormone testosterone. So I'm not very concerned about that. Just get your testosterone checked. Mm-hmm. Some fear soy formula may negatively affect brain, sexual thyroid, or immune development in babies. Studies typically fail to observe any long-term negative effects of soy formula in healthy full-term babies. Now, soybeans are often genetically modified, and GMO soy may contain fewer nutrients and more herbicide residues than conventional or organic soy. So they need to do more research on that. Just say, I don't want GMO if that's the problem. Understand, though, every single thing that we eat is genetically modified. Every ear of corn that you've ever had, even though it's not genetically modified in the lab, it is genetically modified just through Mendelian genetics. Okay? So Mendelian genetics is when you take two little corn-looking things and you breed the two biggest ones together to make a slightly bigger one until you get this giant corn hybrid thing that we eat that's very tasty. But if you look at the original corn plant, I mean, the things, it's like those mini corns. It's even smaller than that. Yeah. So these things are all genetically modified, all the tomatoes we eat, but it's Mendelian genetics. We seem to think that's okay. When you take a virus and insert a gene in something to make it more resistant to drought so it can exist in a drier place and you send it overseas and sell it, then that's a problem. But that's what they're doing with a lot of those things. I do know that some of the GMOs that they've sent overseas were designed to make people overseas buy fertilizer. I get that. And that's a manipulation that I'm not in favor of, but I'm in favor of science in general. Now, soybeans do contain compounds that may lower the body's ability to absorb the vitamins and minerals they contain. Soaking, sprouting, fermenting, and cooking are ways to reduce these anti-nutrient levels in soy. So if you're just not eating raw, just don't only eat edamame. And even that's steamed. Yeah. So anyway, all right.
All right.
Crazy talk.
Yeah, these concerns are common. Few of them are supported by sound science. Because it was funny, and Tacie and I talked about this last show. As soon as we went off the air, I went downstairs and I cooked fried tofu in canola oil in an aluminum pan.
That's what our plan was.
It was a Vinny.
Happened.
Yeah, it was a Vinny Tortorich nightmare.
Yes.
But we love Vinny, and we'll have him on anytime he wants to come on. I always learn something. And check him out at vinnytortorich.com. And it's Tortorich. And he has a new movie out about the Impossible Burgers and Beyond Meat stuff, which actually was pretty good because we've discovered this as well, that those things, Chanda, you weren't here. What would be a reason why you would choose Beyond Meat instead of, let me say, one of these fake meat things instead of regular meat?
Well, there's probably a couple of things. My sister, for example, just doesn't like the taste of real meat. She likes the texture, but not the actual taste.
I would say that would be the number one reason to do it if you just prefer it.
And then the other would maybe be calories, if it's lesser in calories than
it's not.
I don't know.
They have more carbs. Meat generally has 0 carbs. This stuff does. And it's, as far as the fat content, it's not better, really. It's not more healthy for you. And the crazy thing is that I said, well, what about, someone just doesn't want to kill cows, but they like meat. And he says, you got to see how they harvest these the plants is they use these threshers, and it just leaves a holocaust of animals in its wake. Rabbits, groundhogs, just all kinds of stuff.
When you think about that.
Snakes.
I never even thought of that.
I didn't either.
Stop, Scott. For God's sake.
Yes. Chupacabras.
Save the snakes.
Chupacabras. Yeah, werewolves.
Yes.
So anyway, I thought that was really interesting. So he made some good points on that stuff. He's thought about it.
Some of that ground up protein, from bugs and stuff is actually good for you.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
Well, there's no bugs that. You mean that they get by accident?
Yes,
you mean?
correct.
Okay, you're being funny. Okay, I get it. All right.
Good protein.
Very good. All right. Should we move on from that?
Yes, we should.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Introducing our biggest GMC Acadia ever. Offering bigger screens, bigger views, and even bigger journeys. Live your biggest life in the all-new GMC Acadia.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're gonna love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Tinder. Picture this. You're at your favorite coffee shop, and your eyes meet with someone across the room. It's a classic meet cute. Moments like that are happening all the time on Tinder. A new relationship starts every 3 seconds on Tinder. So, instead of leaving your meet cute moment to chance, take control. Open Tinder and explore all of the possibilities for yourself. Tinder, it starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today.
All aboard! Welcome to the Friskies Express. Please keep all paws and tails inside the train. To the right, you'll see Crunch Canyon. To your left is Filet Falls. Now you're passing Party Mix Peak. Today's Delicioso tour is almost over. But don't worry. With Friskies, there's always more to explore. Check out Friskies.com to explore more.
Good question, though.
Yeah,
hello, Dr. Steve, Dr. Scott. Hope y'all are doing all right.
Hey, man. How are you?
Man.
Tacie.
Oh.
PA Lydia. I tip my hat to you.
Hello.
Oh.
So, Dr. Steve.
Yes.
Or Scott.
Yes.
I have a question. Yes. I've been scouring the internet for quite some time now, maybe about a month or two, looking for proper methods.
Wait a minute. Do that again, what you just did. Did you remember that's... I thought you were going to pour that in the Coke. You're actually drinking vodka out of a plastic estrogen cup?
She's sipping.
Correct. And I warmed it in my car before I got here.
Okay.
She's sipping. She's sipping.
All right. So sorry. I
got you back, Chanda. I got you back.
Thank you.
To clean out my ears thoroughly, not using
the dreaded
aforementioned Q-tip method that is so bad for your ears, according to the internet and most doctors that I've...
It just doesn't work, and then you're just going to damage your eardrum when you cram it in.
But it feels so good, Steve.
The aforementioned Q-tip method that is so bad for your ears, according to the internet and most doctors that I've seen in ads, and
Right.
if they're really doctors.
Right.
Anyways, I've heard of you guys talking about oral hygiene, nasal hygiene, general hygiene, but I do not recall hearing the proper method to have your ears cleaned. And of all of the research I've done, there's multiple different silicone or rubber tools, but they all have the same amount of pros and cons as each other.
Yeah.
So my question is, what tool would you recommend, if any, to clean out ears thoroughly without pushing the earwax?
Yeah, I got it.
That's a really good question.
It is a very good question. It's a very practical question.
I'm an earwax pusher.
Yeah, so we've all figured out the Q-tip just sucks. It's like,
but it feels so good.
It does feel so good.
You stick that thing in there,
every morning,
and even if you get wax on it, you can see it's just smeared on there. You know, you're just smearing it against the canal wall, so you're not cleaning your ear. Now,
what about the tissue? The ones with the
ear candle?
No,
they're more like a sponge than the fiber.
Well, the ones that have the tip on it, but it only lets you go so far.
Like the baby
then it has
ones.
Yeah, like for the babies.
Corkscrew.
Yeah,
looks like a corkscrew.
Okay, so listen, Q-tips are fine for cleaning the helix of the ear. That's the outside of the ear. If you go inside the canal, you're going to be committing a crime against your ears, really. And it doesn't clean them out. So you don't need, the ear will clean itself out. That's what wax is for. It's secreted, and it's supposed to just come out a little bit at a time, and it traps, particles of dust and stuff that get in there, and then it eventually just kind of schmoozes out very, very slowly and invisibly, really. Some people, like me, secrete enough that sometimes it'll clog up your ear canal, and then you can't hear. And now you stick a Q-tip in there, and you just jam it in there further, and now it's pushing on your eardrum, and you've got a problem. If you keep pushing, you can actually puncture the eardrum. I've seen it. So if you have that kind of issue where you need to get globs of wax out, the best way to do it is by using fluid in your. That was why I was burbling around, because I wanted to get to the reverb. Yes, using fluid. And when we have someone come into the office, Chanda, you did primary care for a while, right?
I love to flush ears.
It was the greatest thing. We had this giant silver
basin.
Basin and a giant silver syringe. Yes. And you could fill it up with water, and you would hold the basin up to the person's ear and tell them to just bend a little bit toward you, and then you pull the back of their ear back, up and back, and then that straightens out the canal, and then you can shoot this fluid in just along the top or the bottom of the canal or the side, and you want it to go, you don't want to shoot it in straight, you want to go just a little bit to the canal side, so it's going up against the skin, hitting the eardrum, and then curling back into the basin, and you get these giant globs of wax, and all of a sudden the person can hear again.
It's so rewarding.
It is very rewarding.
And I'm not even the patient, but just to wash those ears was like...
Yes. And then the patient's very thankful, too.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt. And
thrombosed external hemorrhoids, ear wax, and impacted toenails are the three people that when they come in, they're miserable. When they walk out, they're done. And those are your most grateful patients. Now, the thrombosed external hemorrhoid being number one, because they can't walk when they come in, and when they leave, they're completely pain-free.
Probably so, but I never got to do any of those things.
You didn't? Oh, goodness.
No hemorrhoids.
I can teach you how to do it.
Well,
you can advertise
anybody got hemorrhoids we can practice on?
I'm good, thank God.
I thought you were retiring.
Yeah, I am.
She's still going to work.
I would still do ingrown toenails all day.
I love ingrown toenails.
Love them.
Now, would you... we'll get to this guy's question in a second. Scott, don't let us forget we need to answer his question. Because there is a way you can do that at home. Would you do the whole toenail, or were you just doing a slice of toenail?
No, I only did the slice.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it.
In the office, yeah.
Now, the cool thing about when you do the sliced toenail is, so what we're talking about, y'all, is we would numb up the toe, all the way around, and then you can take a toenail slicer, and you just hook it to the front of the nail and run it back, and you run it back all the way under the cuticle, and you can just pull that piece off, and instead of taking the whole toenail off. And then if it's recurrent, you could take a thing called a curette and scrape the bottom of the nail bed.
Kill the nail bed.
And then use, there was some chemical that we used. It was so long ago, I can't remember the name of it. But it was caustic. And you'd put that on there and scrape that on. And then you'd put it on, scrape it until you didn't see anything else anymore. And then it would grow up, and their toenail would grow back up to that edge of that nail, and they'd never have an ingrown toenail again. So if you have recurrent toenail...
Those are awful.
It is awful.
Awful.
And you get that proud flesh, they call it, this big giant, thing, paronychia.
Leaking over the toenail.
Yeah, it's awful. And I've seen people with multiple ones, and they were just living with it. It's like, you don't have to live this way. So they're very thankful. But anyway, yes, let's get back to this person's ear problem. You can buy a kit that you could do this. The easy one and the cheap one is the Murine ear kit, and CVS, Walgreens, they all have their own version. It's got a little bulb syringe, and it has a little tube or a little bottle of glycerin with hydrogen peroxide in it. And the glycerin lubricates, and the hydrogen peroxide foams up. So the way you do this is you lay down and watch Seinfeld, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Or The Office.
Or The Office. You lay down with the bad ear up and still, just fill up the canal. You know when it's full with these drops, and keep laying down so it's always. That ear is up so that it'll hold that fluid in there. And you'll feel it bubbling up, and you just watch Seinfeld or The Office. That's about the right amount of time. And when the show is over, then you stand up, and that stuff will run out. You can grab it with a towel or something, a paper towel. And then you go to the sink, fill up the sink with body temperature water. Shouldn't be any warmer than maybe it could be a little warmer, but not hot. And then you use the bulb syringe. You turn that bad ear down, and use the bulb syringe, fill it up, and you stick the tip in the ear, and then do like I said. Don't shoot it straight in, kind of at an angle into the ear canal, gently at first until you get a feel for it, and then you can do it a little bit more, and all of a sudden you'll see a glob of earwax plop out into the sink, and you'll be able to hear again. And that's it. So that's the proper way to do it. Now, I see now that they've got kits that are similar to what we had, Chanda, but it has a little handle on it, a trigger, so that you can do it like a Windex bottle.
No, like a little activator, so it won't let you shoot too much at one time.
Yeah, and then you can do like a Windex bottle and kind of just pump it up and do it that way. So you can buy all kinds of different kits. I've seen ones that are being sold now that have a little screw type spring on them, and they're wanting you to stick that in your ear and twist it around. I'm not recommending that until I see that those are safe, because you're still shoving something in your ear. The nice thing about this is the tip of the nozzle only goes into the very end of the ear canal, the outside part. Okay?
That's a good question.
Excellent question.
Yes.
Because we killed 10 minutes on it, so that's always good.
That's great.
All right. Okay, here we go.
For your post-Thanksgiving thought, which one is better, poop that sinks or poop that floats?
Oh, my God.
All right, excellent question. Anybody? Dr. Scott, we'll go. Okay, Tacie, you got your hand up.
Go ahead, Tacie.
I heard poop that floats has a lot of fat in it.
Ooh.
Give yourself a bill.
So why do things float in water? They have to be less dense than the water, right? Scott, you got anything on this?
I'll take a sinker.
Okay, right. Chanda, you have anything? What's the other thing, though, that could make poop less dense than water, hence would make it float? So fat is one of them.
That's one.
What's the other one? Ooh, really?
I don't know. Fiber?
Gas?
Yeah, I mean, like loose stool, maybe. Like if it was just...
Oh, I know that guy. Oh, Lou, he's a good one.
Gas. Air.
Diarrhea?
Air in your poopy.
No, air. I mean, flat gas in the turd.
Yeah.
So,
okay, like it's trapped inside.
It's mixed up inside it. So, it's poor absorption of nutrients, aka fat malabsorption, which could be you could have a gallstone and have that. You could have difficulty metabolizing or breaking down fats in your gut. Pancreatic problems can do that too. A deficiency of pancreatic enzymes. So if you see oil floating around the top of the water and your stools are floating, then you should go be evaluated, and they'll do a stool for fat, and then they can diagnose. And that's basically, you shit in a bucket for a day, and then they determine how much fat is in there. And if there's too much fat in there over a certain threshold, then they can diagnose fat malabsorption. Then they got to just figure out what's causing it. Is it, any of the things that we mentioned already? And then if it isn't, and your stools are floating, you're just gassy, try taking a Beano. I mean, at that point, then who cares? You're just gassy. You're just a farter.
Mm-hmm.
Or you've been taking Xenical.
Farter.
Oh, Xenical.
Yes. Oh, talk about Xenical.
Oh, back in the day when all the drug reps were taking that.
Yeah, do you remember our friend? Talk about what Xenical was. It was well, go ahead. You talk about it.
Yeah, so it was a prescription strength fat blocker, basically. So you just shit.
Right.
Like grease.
Right.
That looked like the grease on top of a pepperoni.
Right. We had a friend who was a drug rep, and this is before you knew her, when she was my friend, before she went loony. And she was very attractive, and she was going to do a lunch with somebody, and she was on this Xenical stuff.
Oh, no.
And she just felt like she had to pass flatus. She absolutely shit all over herself, and she had a nice, green, beautiful green dress on.
Back when we all wore suits.
Yeah. And she had to turn around and go home and change her clothes. Yeah.
I did
shit
the
is right.
same thing.
Yeah.
I shit myself.
Yeah.
At work one day.
Can't trust your farts on that.
No, if you take that stuff, then or what was the stuff that was in those chips that they did for a while? It was an unabsorbable plant.
It was
something like that. I don't remember. It was an unabsorbable.
It was the fat-free chips.
What about the generic version? What was it called?
Olestrin. That's it.
Okay.
Olestrin.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you.
But what was the generic version of Xenical? Ali?
Yeah, was that over? Was
Ali was over the counter, and then Xenical was the prescription strength.
Yes.
So it was the same.
Which
thing.
one was over the counter?
The Ali.
Oh, Ali, right,
Ali,
or
yeah.
Ali, whatever it was.
I wonder if you can still get that.
I don't know.
I
haven't
not seen
checked.
It. But Olestrin, that was one where also you were shitting out grease if you ate too much.
Wouldn't hurt to lose a couple pounds for the holidays.
You want to take some
Stay home.
Yeah, she's got. Well, where's she going?
Oh yeah, you're retired.
Was it ALLIE?
ALLI, I think.
Yeah, Loganfield says ALI.
Loganfield is on there? Hello, John. That's
you can still get it.
He said check your phone. He sent you a picture.
I don't know that I want it.
No, you don't want it, but you can still get it.
We should have Loganfield on. He, I don't know if he wants us to talk about it, but he had a really interesting thing. But the treatment for it was $1 million, like $2.4 million. I don't have anything from you on my phone, dude. Sorry.
It's you can get it at Walgreens. You can get it at Amazon.
Okay.
And its generic name is Orlistat.
Orlistat,
which is interesting because that's kind of the same name as the stuff in the
Olestrin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I don't know. I did lose a lot of weight on it. I
anyway,
must say.
if you wanna shit out orange. Oh, there's another way. Do you know? Here's a good quiz. Do you know what food you could eat? Let me say at a seafood restaurant that would do the same thing. There is a fish. I'm asking this question very.
Oh, I was just going to say hush puppies, but you know.
There's a fish that if you eat more than 6 ounces of it, you will poop out orange oil, and it will be
because
voluminous.
It's very fatty. Or I mean,
it's
obviously,
yummy though.
Oh, it is yummy.
Hold on, Let's
see here. I don't have any thinking music, so I just have the sexy music. Can't Google it, Tacie.
I just Googled fish you can't eat too much.
Yeah. Okay, well, you ready for the answer?
Sea bass.
Yes, go ahead.
Swordfish.
It's not swordfish.
Sea bass.
Nope, it's
No,
not sea
not sea
bass.
bass.
It is escalar. And it's also called butterfish.
But-
And I've seen it on the menu before. I went to a restaurant, and they actually had escalar there, and it was an 8-ounce fillet. And it's like, you can't serve more than 6 ounces of this stuff because when you get over 6 ounces, it's delicious, but the fat in it cannot be absorbed by the human body. It goes straight through you, and you'll just be up all night, just shitting out orange oil.
Well, that makes me want to try it now.
Me too. Let's go.
It
was close.
Can we plan a trip?
Yeah, let's plan a trip.
Yeah, plan a trip to go eat escalar. We could
Going to Abingdon, by God.
God, if we just had a stunt boy or girl on this show, we could get them to eat some escalar.
We got Chanda.
Yeah, she'll do anything.
Chanda, anything
Give it
for
to Chanda. She'll eat anything.
She's like Mikey.
All right. Here's one for Dr. Scott.
Dr. Steve.
Yes.
Dr. Scott. Tacie.
Hey.
Hopefully all of you were there.
Oh,
if
yeah.
not, then only some of you were there.
There you
Hey,
go.
really quick. I had called earlier and talked about this horrific pain in my head and how insane it was making me and all the treatments I had done.
Yeah.
Well, here's an update. I continued to have the pain, started to look at getting other relief, and then decided I had to go to take a trip. And when I went on the trip, I felt better, and I don't know why. So I get home, and I start feeling sick again. And I would blame my wife, but I love her, so anyway.
It was her.
It was probably.
I realized that the only thing that changed, and I did I did what I could, but the only thing that had changed is I purchased this neuropathy roll-on for my feet, and I started putting it on. And when I stopped doing it when I was home, the pain went away.
Okay, don't do it.
It had eucalyptus. It had tea tree oil. It had very...
See, when he was saying neuropathy roll-on, I was thinking of something like maybe he was saying really what he had was plantar fasciitis. He was rolling, so this was actually a drug that he was rolling
actual
on
things,
his,
which is what they touted.
Okay.
I don't know what the deal was, but I haven't used it since. Actually threw it away, and I feel great. Well, I'm still in pain, but God knows it's better than it was.
Yeah.
Hope we can talk about it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Well, I don't know which one caused this.
rolling on it.
I do know that tea tree oil has an adverse effect profile. One of the things is nausea, one's vertigo, and one is headache. So it could have been that. What I do recommend, though, and the teaching thing from this is don't use tea tree oil necessarily. I mean, I don't see a lot of benefit in it unless you're using it for...
It's good shampoo.
Toenail fungus.
Yeah, toenail fungus. Thank you, Chanda. That was exactly what I was going to say. But you got to use it for 48 weeks, which is interesting because if you get the prescription stuff, that has got the medicine in it, you know how long you have to use it? 48 weeks. The study that they did on Vicks Vapo Rub for toenails said it also works. You know how long you got to use it? 48 weeks. So it has something more to do with the 48 weeks than it does with what you're putting on it. But anyway,
consistency.
It's pretty interesting. Or it just could be occlusion with anything, But what I want everybody to remember is if you go to your primary care with a problem like I've got these headaches, you have to tell them what over-the-counter stuff and supplements you're using. I always ask. And sometimes you don't get the answer because they don't think of it. They don't think of that as medicine.
Yeah, well, and prescription medicines too, for that matter.
Well, that part's obvious, but I mean,
not to everybody.
You go in and you tell them your prescription medicines that you're on, but you got to tell them your supplements and shit too. So my primary care knows that I'm on glutamine, alpha lipoic acid, all that stuff because I tell them all of that because you just never know one day.
But you're right, not to everybody because I've taken metformin for 20 years. Why does anybody need to know?
Yep. Yeah, a lot of times they'll just forget. A lot of times they'll just forget their. We see it a lot with side effects from blood pressure medication. Somebody's taken it for years, and all of a sudden they get a rash, and it's like, wait a minute, I didn't even think about that. Been on so long, I forgot to tell you I was taking it. I'm like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Little dry cough.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, but no, the supplements are certainly worse because a lot of times people forget. Oh man, I forgot I was taking that.
Yeah, I got some. I'm on this stuff called Stress Less from.
It's also embarrassing to tell. To pull out a list of everything you're taking and give it to somebody.
Oh yeah, I got this hot nurse, and I'm telling her I'm on testosterone and Cialis.
Yes. And you have a penile pump, and
right,
yes, and a flatus flute too.
And I got it in right now.
I just call them in.
The trifecta.
Chanda, you have got to buy that erectile dysfunction machine for your place before you retire.
She's got 2 weeks.
We've been talking about it for like a year, but my partner that's taken over has used this at the clinics that she worked at in Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
And great success. And she doesn't care at all to use them.
Yeah.
And
let's go. I'll
Okay.
do it. I mean, if the guys are embarrassed, which, why would they be? But, having, a young, attractive nurse practitioner do it, hell, I'll do it and get some old guy in there. But
you'd
I
have
think
people lined out the door.
I think that would be part of the competitive advantage you would have. Would be, having
an old guy.
No, having them do it.
Oh,
I mean, hell, I'd go.
The price just went up if I'm doing that.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, do you have to do it on a flaccid penis, though, right?
Correct.
Interesting. I'm not sure I could do that. I'm just kidding. All right. That's the whole reason you're going.
Isn't that, I was going to say, isn't that the reason you're there?
Yes, exactly. Unless I'm just a weirdo. Do guys, when you've got this person rubbing this thing up and down their penis with ultrasound, do they not get erect? I mean, that would be...
It does change to a certain degree.
Yeah.
If they truly have erectile dysfunction, then it's not going to just become this massive erect...
While you're on the table.
Yes.
I think it'd be tough. I don't care how hot somebody is. I could go to the Mustang Ranch, and if they're stretching my male membership, my jungle region around, and then rubbing this probe up and down, and that's actually hitting it with sound waves that is not just like regular ultrasound.
It's not super comfortable.
It's electric shock wave therapy. I mean, it's electric shock wave therapy.
Can't you just go lay your pecker on like an electric fence?
No.
Well, why don't we try
there's plenty of them around here.
I was going to say, yeah.
Let's do a double-blind, placebo-controlled study.
You first, Dr. Steve.
I'll do the one with the hot nurse practitioner.
And I'll go to the fence.
Lubing me up and running this electric shockwave thing, and then you do the electric fence. And we'll see who can get a better rod afterward.
Yes. I'm sure it'll leave a mark.
You think? I had a friend that pissed on electric fence, and he was grounded, I guess, because it was dewy out and stuff, and that was not a pleasant experience.
Oh, gosh.
I bet not.
He completed the circuit with his urine.
Wow. That's a strong stream.
Fortunately, that causes the sphincter to close up very quickly, so it was very brief. But
quickly became his fastest reacting muscle.
Yeah, that's right. Good call back, Dr. Scott. Excellent. Well, all right. You guys have anything else?
No.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone who's made this show happen over the years. Listen to our SiriusXM show on the Faction Talk channel. SiriusXM, channel 103, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, on demand, and other times at Jim McClure's pleasure. Many thanks to our listeners whose voicemail and topic ideas make this job very easy. Go to our website at drsteve.com for schedules, podcasts, and other crap. Don't forget Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. And it's the holidays, so shop at stuff.drsteve.com, please. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps, quit smoking, get off your asses, get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.